Hello, everyone. This is Yvonne Herbst, and today I'm speaking with Julianne O'Dwyer. I first met Julianne way back in 1989. We go way back when I was working for a federal government contracts consulting firm, and she was hired on to become the executive director of the Coalition for Common Sense in Government Procurement. And so I was onboarding Julie to kind of get her understanding what she needed to do, what her job responsibilities were. And then fast forward 20, 25 years, and somehow I stumbled across Julianne, and she is now working with, was it National Integrated Health Associates, I think, as a health and wellness coach. It's like, Julianne, are you the same person I knew way back in 1989? You look like the same person. So we reconnected, and what I learned about Julie is, she is now an avid hiker and a skier, and she moved to Virginia from Colorado. She experienced a catastrophic crash of her health due to several autoimmune conditions and longstanding back, neck, and shoulder issues due to several car accidents. Through trial and error with various healthcare approaches and hundreds of supplements, Julianne learned how to heal naturally without using antibiotics or other medications. Pretty impressive. So as a result of her triumphant return back to health, Julianne left her international consulting and then her corporate life to help people, and especially athletes, overcome their own health challenges. As a health coach at National Integrated Health Associates for several years, Julianne worked with clients to support their bodies with lifestyle changes, including nutrition, supplementation, hydration with alkaline water, cellular rebuilding, and detoxification techniques. So today, Julianne has 2 health coaching programs to help people take charge of their health. One of them is healthylivingwithjulianne.com, and the other is trekkingwithjulianne.com. And she helps prepare people for adventure travels that are physically demanding, such as the high altitudes of Nepal, Switzerland, Colorado, or the Appalachian Trail. So I'm like, wow, you've done a lot with your life in the 30 years since I first knew you. World traveler. Did you live in Switzerland for a while as an international consultant, business consultant?
I did.
Yeah. So just, tell us more about the health issues you faced and the technology you found that has really helped you overcome them.
Okay. Well, Yvonne, I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity, and just wanted to also thank you for teaching me how to write.
Oh.
When
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yes, exactly. When I was first hired by Yvonne, she said, here's a newsletter that I'm writing. You're now going to write this newsletter, so get up to speed. And so each time I'd write the newsletter, I'd give it to her for edits, and there were lots of red all over it. I'm thinking, oh, this is not good. So my goal each time that I gave it to her was to have less red on the page.
That's right. I forgot all about that.
Because it was a new industry, and but I started to think like Yvonne. When you admire a writer, you think, now how would Yvonne say this, and what would she do? And so it served me well. I started to develop some writing skills because of you.
Oh, well, thank you.
And
nice to know.
Yeah, and thank you very much. And it served me well in my career because I worked in nonprofit and consulting. I eventually went and got my MBA, and I always kind of looked around and thought my writing skills were improving a little faster than other people. And I attributed that to Yvonne. So thank you very much. Yeah, I've had quite a journey. And as Yvonne mentioned, one of the challenges in our lives, particularly now as we face this stressful time, is that we have a plan much of the time for our lives, for our careers, for our families. And sometimes those plans go awry. Sometimes the doors close. And I felt that the doors closed on me many times over many years. When my health crashed, I was on a trajectory to continue my international consulting career, and got too sick to that. Then got into corporate marketing, did that, and lost jobs, lost consulting gigs because of my health challenges, and the market was contracting in telecommunications. And so if you're feeling some desperation right now, some anxiety, some uncertainty because of the current stressful situation we're in, I've been there many, many times. And I felt that many times I looked within and thought, I can't keep going, but I did. So my words to you are, know that you are usually stronger than you think you are.
I think that's one of your really impressive qualities, is your resilience over and over again in adversity, and your ability to reinvent yourself and bounce back.
Right. Exactly. And so for those of you who have businesses that are failing brick and mortar, you're thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Get creative, tap into the skills, the abilities that you have. Look at Yvonne, she's doing this interview series. It's a very creative way to, build the community and let other people know of what she's doing. So you are not, the hat that you started with when you were in college, out of college 10 years ago, 20 years ago, may not be the hat you're wearing now. And so, so you can tap into different experiences you've had and leverage them. So when my health crashed, I was graduating from a very expensive MBA school, and my plan was to go overseas, take advantage of the tax deductions you get and pay it all back. Well, the door closed, and my health really sidelined me, and it started with extreme fatigue. I had had a condition years prior where I was tired all the time, and then I was told I had leaky mercury fillings, the amalgam fillings in your mouth.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. And so over years, that had impacted me. And the symptoms that I had were wide ranging. Kind of, it started to snowball. I had extreme fatigue. My sleep was erratic. I had night sweats. I had hot flashes. I had brain fog. And ladies, we know what that is from. And for several years, I just couldn't sleep through the night. And digestive issues, my immune system was weak. I had emotional challenges, of course. I mean, if you're constantly sick and every day is an uphill battle, I started to get depressed and hopeless. I felt a sense of hopelessness because every day it was something new. And at the meantime, I had to keep a career going in corporate marketing in a very contracting market in Colorado. And that was after 9/11. And Colorado only had a few industries, and
that was the telecommunications industry at that time that you were in?
Yes.
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 Right.
So I was hired by US West, which was acquired by Quest. And it downsized from about 65,000 employees to 35,000 over a year. So all 30,000 people were on the street. And so my skiing improved.
Always looking for the silver lining. That's Julianne.
You can buy a pass for $450. And as, of course, when I first crashed, but after a couple of years, I started investigating so many supplements and modalities and seeing so many doctors that my health started to improve. And so I did a lot of skiing and a lot of hiking and so forth, and on the weekends, and then I recovered during the week. And my practitioners would say, you you may be gonna setting yourself back if you do all these things. And I said, if you think I'm gonna live near the Rocky Mountains and not go and play, you are mistaken. So I really spent a lot of time investigating, and if I met someone who had the conditions that I had, I would write it all down, go home and research on the internet, and read books, went to workshops, and really just spent a lot of time becoming kind of my own doctor, you know, and that I said, oh, okay, this person, this worked for her, I'm going to try it. And so enormous expense. After about 4 years, I did declare bankruptcy, but I was so committed to taking a natural approach to address the underlying causes, not just kind of taking care of the symptoms. And so that's when I veered more towards supplementation, and saw the best and the brightest in Colorado. But it wasn't until I had worked for a number of corporations in Denver, and there were no more to work for, and the contractions continued, that I moved back to this area, Virginia, Northern Virginia area, and DC, where I'd been for many years. And after a year or 2 or 3, can't remember, a couple years, I was introduced to REDOX technology, and there wasn't much information at the time. It was newly launched, and the doctor said, here, drink this every day for 3 months. And I always saw a couple of doctors to get different opinions. And I went back to another doctor who had recommended a long list of supplements. And they were working. I was gradually feeling better and better. So supplements, herbs, homeopathics really were working. But it was very gradual. So I went back to her after 3 months after drinking this REDOX technology, and said, here, these are very, you know, they're expensive. Can I cut back on any of them? She said, she tested me and she said, what have you been doing? You don't need 60% of these vitamins anymore. I said, really? That's cool. And
had you felt a measurable difference yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Not in the first month, because I had over 40 symptoms. It wasn't really until the 3rd month that I really noticed a dramatic improvement in my energy, my sleep, my digestion, my immune system. I was no longer getting, you know, colds that if I was with somebody, I wasn't absorbing it. And I'd had long-standing back discomfort for decades and lived in the chiropractic offices and was getting physical therapy and, you know, acupuncture and massage, and it was wonderful, but again, you know, very time consuming and expensive. And I started to reschedule all my appointments. And, you know, as a hiker skier, I had always had a little bit of fear when especially on like long backpacking trips, like 7-10 days, I always had a little fear that my back might pop out while I'm in the middle of the Sierra Nevadas or Switzerland or somewhere. And I thought, well, I'm an adventurer, I'm just going to take a chance. And I did my exercises. And so after I started drinking the REDOX technology, I found that my back started to feel better than it had in decades. And the comfort I had up and down my right side, my neck, the whole thing started to dissipate. And I've been wearing orthotics in my shoes. If I didn't wear orthotics, then what the orthotics do is they keep your hips kind of even. But if I didn't wear them, my hips would turn, my knees would turn, and then I would have all kinds of imbalance and discomfort. And I couldn't go to Rehoboth Beach and walk on the beach with bare feet, which was a big priority for me. So after about 5 or 6 months, I said, it's time. So I removed the orthotics from my shoes and haven't worn them since. It's been years.
Wow.
And
Hmm.
yeah,
And you can walk barefoot on the beach again and not suffer.
I can walk barefoot on the beach. Very exciting. And I can walk. And now when I go to Rehoboth Beach, you know, on the weekends, I'm in beach houses. I can walk for 2 miles on the sand barefoot and have no discomfort. I was always scared at the beach that I might have to run back to the chiropractor in DC, you know, if something happened. And now I can do all that. And what's important for you and other people listening to understand is that I still take supplements and they're still valuable, but the supplements are in a different category from this REDOX technology science. The science focuses on the cells in the body. So science class for me is a long, long time ago, but but just quickly, we have cells in our bodies. Let's say these are the cells. We have over 70 trillion cells. And when the cells are damaged from pollution, pesticides in our food, mercury, electromagnetic frequencies from cell phones, right? Everybody's putting the cell phone to the ear, which you never want to do, by the way, but radiation goes right to the head through the eardrum, and it pollutes the whole body. So these are just some of the stressors that we face, and we're all looking at screens, especially during this stressful time. And so we're absorbing the radiation from the screens. So the end result of all that is damaged cells. So the cells in our bodies, and we have cells behind our eyes, behind our thyroid, behind our heart, our knees, our elbows, our digestive tract. And so as they get damaged, that's what causes illness. So the common thread between all small and big health issues is cells. And so that's why I experienced such an improvement in my health, because when I drank the REDOX technology, it started to heal the cells in my vulnerable areas for me. So that would be, you know, my back, my neck, my shoulder, and then the other conditions that I had, several autoimmune. And then a byproduct, the company also created a skin gel, REDOX technology skin gel. And so I put that on my back. This is a couple of years after I started drinking it. And then I just put some on my face, and lo and behold, the wrinkles started to go away.
Well, I like the sound of that. I really like the sound of that. Wow.
And that's because the skin cells, the skin is made up of cells.
Of course, right.
And so as we age, and a lot of people become more and more dehydrated because they don't drink enough water, and the wrinkles happen in the face. And then my hairdresser, just as an aside, after about 2 months, the first 2 months I was drinking it, said, "Your hair is longer and growing faster. What have you been doing?" And I've been taking drops and putting it in my scalp to help with the brain fog. And my hair started growing.
And did it help with the brain fog too?
It helped with the brain fog. Helped with the brain fog, and I wasn't as distracted. And it also helped with my mood, because I'd had these big ups and downs, well, mostly downs actually, for many years. And, you know, just such worry, such anxiety and hopelessness for me, that my life was not going in the direction that I'd hoped. And I just couldn't see myself feeling really good, or just feeling okay. And so this technology really helped me. Now, a little bit about it. It is about 10 to 15 years ahead of its time. It has been studied by major science organizations such as National Institute of Health. So they've been studying REDOX signaling technology for decades. In the 90s, there were doctors who won Nobel Peace Prizes, Nobel Prizes, because they've been studying this technology, but they weren't able to put it in a consumable form until the REDOX technology product came along. And so I'm just so thankful. Maybe that's why I had to leave Colorado to move to Virginia to learn about it. And so with my health coaching clients, I do work with people and tell them about, you know, and make suggestions on supplementation, and I'm talking about vitamins and so forth. But in terms of boosting the immune system, which is something a lot of people are talking about right now, from the inside out, you know, boosting the immune system, this was one of the major obstacles that I overcame. Was boosting the immune system.
Well, that's definitely something a lot of people, it's on people's minds right now, for sure.
Yeah. So that if something comes along and, you know, we're subjected to it, we can't, there are no guarantees, but if your immune system is stronger from the inside out, then you're less vulnerable.
Right.
And you're more resilient.
Right. So how would people find out more about this if they wanted to talk with you directly and learn more?
Yes. So a good way to find me is on Facebook. I'm very active. Healthy Living with Julianne is the best way to find me. And I am doing a health series. It's video blogs. So I spend a lot of time in the woods, as you know. And so I'm actually recording my blogs in the woods.
Okay. And they can find that through your Healthy Living with Julianne website?
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. So my website's not active, but my Facebook page is. And I have a group if you want to join it. And yeah, that's kind of the best way to reach me.
Yeah, well, this all sounds super exciting and very timely given what everyone's going through right now. Just out of curiosity, I know that you can't be doing this now with travel restrictions, but if travel restrictions are ever lifted, do you anticipate doing your trekking thing again?
Absolutely. One more comment I wanted to make before I jump into Nepal, which is one of my favorite subjects. When I first started drinking this REDOX technology, I was just trying to get healthy and live my life and not be in discomfort. But I found that other people, my family, friends, and some associates noticed such a physical, mental, and emotional change in me that they asked me where they could get it. So it's only shared through associates. So I became an associate in order to share it with them. And then I made just a little bit of money, and that paid for my product. And then I started to see it was a nice little part-time income. And people can just buy on the website, no inventory required. And no, there's so many tools out there. And so I mentor people. So people don't have to be a health coach or a doctor or a nurse, although many medical professionals are taking it themselves for 90 days. 90 days, don't just try it for a month. And then recommending it to patients. So just wanted to let people know in case you're kind of wondering, you know, remember I mentioned at the beginning about doors opening and closing. This may be a door that's open.
Well, with so many people losing their jobs right now and wondering if they'll ever recover, this could definitely be a new business they might want to look at, right? A new way of generating a different stream of income for themselves.
Right. And you don't need to know a lot about cells and so forth. You just need to know what it's doing for you. And, you know, as I said, when I worked at the clinic, National Integrated Health meetings, we had supplement companies come every week almost. So I was introduced to cutting edge technologies and tried many of them, stuck with a few of them. But still, the supplements are in a different category from the REDOX technology. They work together, And when the cells, going back to the cells, when the cells are healthier, they absorb the supplements, the nutrients from the supplements and the food. When the cells are damaged, they don't absorb it as well.
Okay,
And the cells don't, and the cells don't talk to each other, right? So the whole process of REDOX technology is my brain cells talking to each other, my brain cells talking to my digestive cells, the whole conversation. So it's kind of like a complex telecommunication system in your body.
Right. Well, it's all holistic. It's all interconnected, right?
Exactly. So just wanted to give some visuals. So just last example here, if your house is on fire and your cell phone doesn't have any bars, it hasn't been charged, you can't call the fire truck to come put the fire out. If your body doesn't replenish on a regular basis with this REDOX technology, it doesn't have the signal to tell other parts of the body what to do. And so that's when health challenges can develop.
Right. Makes sense. Totally makes sense. Right. So tell us a little bit about Nepal, right?
So I have to say that given my background, I lived in Colorado for a decade and I heard about Nepal and I was okay to hike and ski there, but I thought Nepal is on my bucket list for, years from now when I recover emotionally, physically, and mentally and have time off. Opportunity surfaced last year, and I credit REDOX technology for a lot of it because I was able to go and do it. And went over Christmas and connected with some folks who lead trips and who have been doing that for about 27 years. And so I'm working with, Nepalese trekkers, Sherpas, and I am helping to represent them in North America.
Cool.
They've been really focusing by word of mouth in Asia, Australia, of course, New Zealand, and Europe, but North America they hadn't really focused on. So I said, love to help. And we're March 2020 now. In January 2020, we were actually in the final planning stages of trips for this September, October, and November. And these are 3 types of trips. One is touring, people who aren't necessarily avid hikers, but they want to see Nepal. And so that would be like a 7-day touring trip where we take you to monasteries. That Nepal, Buddha was born in Nepal. Ironically, about 80% of the country is Hindu, but there are a few Buddhists still hanging around. And there are monks there. And so we would give you tours of monasteries, monkey temples, historic sites in Kathmandu and other areas of Nepal. And then at the end, we have like a 3-day hiking, which is optional. And we have all levels. We have beginner, we have intermediate, and we have strenuous. And we're designing it. So let's say we have a husband-wife team, and let's say the husband is an advanced hiker, and let's say the wife is a beginner hiker. And so we want to accommodate both of those levels of people. And so we would take you to Lake Pokhara, for example, and do day trips. So everybody does trekking at their own pace and then comes back to the tea houses for, evening dinner and fun.
Wow, fun experience. Well, I hope that, so where do things stand now? Is this just on hold until the uncertainty is removed?
Right. Yeah, we can't guarantee, until the flights are regular, we don't want people to put down any money and so forth. But I'm confident that, we're still planning. So we're going to do touring, we're going to do trekking. So we're going to do trekking for serious hikers. There are a lot of treks to do other than Everest, which takes 50 days, by the way, because of weather. So there's lots of other treks to do. And then we have yoga. So we've identified a couple of yoga camps, and a lot of Westerners and Asians show up. So you can do 1 or 2 classes of yoga during the day, and in the morning and the evening, and then we take you on to visit the historic sites during the day in Kathmandu, which is the major, the capital city. And then we have optional trekking at the end. So
wow, sounds like lots of fun.
Yeah, so we're starting with Nepal. We hope to go to Machu Picchu in Peru and Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, and do the same format, but we're going to start with Nepal.
Great. Well, Julianne, it's been so great to reconnect with you and hear about your story and this wonderful technology that's getting your health right on track and boosting your immunity. So thanks for sharing it with us today. And I'll be sure to help you spread the word. Okay.
It's been so fun. Thank you so much, Yvonne.
Okay. Well, we'll talk soon.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Bye.